There's a moment I want you to picture. It's early morning, maybe 6:30, and the kitchen is still half dark. Your cat is sitting by the bowl, tail wrapped tight around her paws, waiting for the same food she's had for the last 4 years. You pour it, she eats, she walks away. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a quieter thought slips in. Is this really enough? Is the food I'm giving her actually helping her live longer, or am I just keeping her alive? That doubt doesn't make you a bad owner. It makes you a thoughtful one. And if you've been carrying that question for a while, I want you to stay with me. Because in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through 7 small, 1-minute habits you can add to your cat's morning bowl and morning routine. Habits that cost almost nothing, take less than 60 seconds each, and based on what I've seen over more than 2 decades of feline practice, may quietly stretch your cat's life closer to that 20-year mark than you thought possible. And I'll tell you now, habit number 7 is the one that changes everything. It's smaller than the other 6. It's stranger than the other 6. And it may matter more than the other 6 combined. Hi, I'm Dr. Andrew Collins, and I've spent over 22 years working with cats. Clinic cats, farm cats, senior cats, chronically ill cats, and a surprising number of very grumpy tabbies who taught me more than any textbook did. Long-term feline longevity is one of the areas I care about most, partly because the research has quietly exploded in the last decade. The Cornell Feline Health Center has published extensively on how small daily nutritional inputs, hydration, protein quality, micronutrient balance, outperform almost any single medical intervention we can offer later in life. In other words, what you put in the bowl every morning matters more than what happens in my exam room. So grab a notebook or just a scrap of paper on the counter and subscribe if you'd like more of these slow, careful feline deep dives. I release one every week, and they build on each other. Now, let's begin with habit 1. Habit 1 is a spoonful of warm water stirred directly into the morning meal. Not cold, not room temperature. Warm, roughly the temperature of a freshly poured cup of tea that's been sitting for 2 minutes. About 1 tablespoon per meal is enough for most adult cats. The tell is immediate. Watch your cat's nose the moment the bowl hits the floor. If she leans in a ½ inch, closer than usual, if her whiskers fan forward, you've just triggered something ancient. Warm food releases volatile aromatic compounds, the same molecules that make a fresh kill smell alive to a wild cat. Researchers at the University of Nottingham's veterinary school have shown that food palatability in cats is driven far more by scent than by taste, because cats have only around 470 taste buds compared to our 9,000. The how-to is simple. Boil the kettle. Pour a small amount into a cup. Let it cool for about a minute so it's warm, not hot. Stir a tablespoon into the wet food or drizzle it over the kibble. The gentle caution: never microwave the food itself, because microwaves create hot pockets that can burn the tongue and the roof of the mouth in a spot you'll never see. And that small pocket of heat, if repeated, can slowly train a cat to eat suspiciously, in short bursts, which brings me to habit 2, because how your cat eats matters almost as much as what she eats. Habit 2 is a pinch of finely chopped fresh parsley, no bigger than the tip of your little fingernail, sprinkled over the top of the food. Flat leaf parsley, not curly, and never the ornamental kind from a florist. The tell here is subtle. Over the first 2 weeks, you'll notice her breath softening. That sharp, slightly sour note that older cats sometimes carry. It fades. Parsley contains chlorophyll and small amounts of vitamin K, and a modest body of veterinary nutrition work, including reviews out of UC Davis, has pointed to chlorophyll's role in gentle oral freshening and mild support of the gut's microbial balance. The how-to: chop it fine, almost dust fine, because cats don't chew leafy greens the way we do. A pinch 3 or 4 mornings a week is plenty. The gentle caution: parsley is safe in tiny amounts, but not for cats with a history of kidney disease, because of its mild diuretic effect. If your cat has ever had blood work flagged for kidney values, skip this one entirely and speak to your own vet first. Now, habit 3 is where things start to get interesting, because it's the one most owners have never even considered. Habit 3 is a single drop, 1 drop, no more, of sardine oil or wild-caught anchovy oil stirred into the morning meal. Not salmon oil from a big box store, and not cod liver oil, which carries too much vitamin A for daily use. The tell is in the coat. Give it 4 to 6 weeks, and you'll feel the difference the next time you run your palm from the base of her ears down to the small of her back. The fur parts differently under your fingers. It has that faint, silky drag that healthy young cats have. That's the omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, quietly reducing low-grade systemic inflammation. Cornell has published work on how chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the strongest predictors of shortened lifespan in indoor cats, and dietary omega-3s are among the most consistently supported interventions. The how-to: 1 drop once a day from a small dark glass bottle kept in the refrigerator so it doesn't oxidize. The gentle caution: more is not better. Too much oil, even good oil, can cause loose stools, and over time, deplete vitamin E. 1 drop. That's the whole ritual. And I know one drop sounds too small to matter, but stay with me because habit 4 is going to explain why the smallest additions often outperform the largest ones. Habit 4 is a teaspoon of bone broth, unsalted, unseasoned, no onion, no garlic, poured over the food or offered in a separate shallow dish. You can make it at home by simmering chicken bones in water for 8 to 12 hours, or you can buy a plain veterinary formulated broth from a reputable pet nutrition brand. The tell is water intake. Watch your water fountain over the following 2 weeks. In most cases, cats who receive broth in the morning actually drink more from their regular water source, not less, because the broth wakes up their thirst response. Cats descended from desert-dwelling ancestors, and their thirst drive is famously weak, a fact well documented in feline nutrition reviews from the Waltham Pet Care Science Institute. Chronic mild dehydration is one of the invisible accelerators of kidney disease, and kidney disease is the leading cause of death in cats over 12. The how-to: 1 to 2 teaspoons, warmed slightly in the morning bowl. The gentle caution: always check the label for onion, garlic, or excessive sodium, because all 3 are toxic to cats in ways that don't show up for months. If you're still with me, and I hope you are, because the next 3 are the strongest, I'd love for you to do one small thing. Down in the comments, tell me which habit you're going to try first tomorrow morning. Just the number. I read them, and I use them to shape the next videos. It also helps other cat owners find this one, and honestly, most cats in this age bracket are one small change away from a better decade. Habit 5 is a single quarter teaspoon of plain, unsweetened live culture goat kefir, offered separately from the food in its own tiny saucer. Not cow's milk, not yogurt. Goat kefir, specifically because the fat globules are smaller, the lactose content is lower, and the probiotic strains are more diverse. The tell is in the litter box, and I'm sorry to be indelicate, but this is where cat health lives. Firmer, better-formed stools within about 10 days, and less of that pungent odor that signals gut imbalance. Research from the University of Helsinki's Small Animal Nutrition Group has shown that diverse gut microbiota in cats correlates with lower rates of inflammatory bowel disease and better long-term weight stability. The how-to: a quarter teaspoon, 3 mornings a week, at room temperature. Warm it in your palm for 30 seconds before you offer it. The gentle caution: some cats, particularly seniors, are genuinely lactose intolerant even to goat products. Offer a tiny test amount first, wait 48 hours, and watch for any digestive upset before making it routine. And now we're closing in on the 2 habits that matter most, because habit 6 starts to shift the whole picture from nutrition into something deeper. Habit 6 is a small pinch, about 1/8 of a teaspoon, of ground, dried, cat-safe herbs added to the food 2 or 3 times a week. I'm talking specifically about dried catnip leaf, dried silvervine, or dried valerian root in very small amounts, rotated so no single one dominates. The tell is behavioral. Within 20 to 30 minutes of eating, you'll notice a softness in her body language. The shoulders drop, the tail relaxes. She may need a blanket she hasn't touched in months. Work out of the University of Iwate in Japan has documented how these plant compounds interact with feline opioid receptors in ways that reduce measurable stress markers, including cortisol. And chronic stress, particularly in indoor cats, quietly shortens lifespan through its effect on the immune system and the gut. The how-to: dried, not fresh, because dried herbs are more concentrated and cleaner. Mix a pinch into the food. Not every day. 2 or 3 times a week is plenty, because tolerance builds quickly. The gentle caution: pregnant cats, cats on any prescription medication, and cats with a seizure history should skip valerian entirely. Always run this past your own veterinarian if your cat has any ongoing condition, because I can give you the general map, but only your vet knows the specific terrain of your cat. And now, habit 7, the one I promised, the one that matters more than the other 6 combined, and the one almost no owner does, not because it's hard, but because it's so small it feels like it can't possibly count. Habit 7 is this: before you set the bowl down in the morning, you kneel or crouch so your eyes are roughly level with your cat's, and you hold the bowl for 3 seconds, just 3, before placing it on the floor. During those 3 seconds, you look at her, and she looks at you, and you say her name once, softly, in the same tone every morning. That's it. That's the whole ritual. And I know how absurdly small it sounds, but let me tell you what it does. It converts feeding, the single most important interaction of your cat's day, from a passive event into a bonded event. The pioneering attachment research out of Oregon State University showed that cats form secure attachment styles with their humans in patterns strikingly similar to human infants, and that these secure attachments correlate with lower baseline stress, better immune function, and, this is the part that stopped me cold when I first read it, longer measured lifespans in indoor cats. 3 seconds. Every morning. Same voice, same name, same eye level. I remember a cat named Marmalade, a 13-year-old orange tabby who came into my clinic last spring, brought in by an owner who was gently, quietly grieving in advance. Marmalade had lost weight, stopped grooming her back, and in the owner's words, seemed to be checking out. Blood work was actually reasonable. What she was showing was the low, slow slide of disengagement that so many senior cats fall into. I didn't prescribe anything major. I asked the owner to do exactly what I've just described to you, the 3-second morning ritual, plus the warm water and the drop of sardine oil. 6 weeks later, Marmalade had gained back 9 ounces, was grooming her flanks again, and had started sleeping on the owner's pillow for the first time in 2 years. She's 15 now, and last time I saw her, she jumped onto the exam table by herself. That's not a miracle. That's what happens when the smallest daily inputs are the right ones. So, those are the 7. A tablespoon of warm water, a pinch of parsley, 1 drop of sardine oil, a teaspoon of broth, a 1/4 teaspoon of goat kefir, a pinch of dried herbs, and 3 seconds of eye-level presence with her name in the air. None of them are expensive. None of them take more than a minute. And none of them, on their own, will make your cat live to 20. But layered together, morning after morning, year after year, in the majority of cats I've watched move through my clinic, they change the shape of the whole life. One last thing before I let you go. If your cat has any diagnosed condition, if she's on any medication, or if she's a kitten under a year old, please talk to your own veterinarian before you introduce any of these. I can give you the general principles, but your vet knows your cat. Use both of us. If this was useful, if even one of these 7 made you think, oh, I could actually do that tomorrow, the kindest thing you can do is subscribe. These slow, careful masterclasses only keep coming because people like you stay. And if you tap the like button, it helps another cat owner, somewhere quiet in their kitchen at 6:30 in the morning, wondering the same thing you were wondering when this video started, find their way here too. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of your little one.